during the Sam Altman drama a year ago or 2 years ago.
It was a year ago.
Yeah, feels like 2 years ago. I remember he was talking about how if he didn't get what he wanted, then he was just going to leave and start a rival company, and he could build everything in a year. And I was like, either they're just like posturing like crazy, or AI is not as hard to like do once you figured out like a little bit of the secret sauce. Doing a payment company from scratch to get to today, we've been around for like 9 years. If I had the same amount of capital and the same people, I probably could take that 9 years down to like 6 to 7.
But it's still 7 years.
And that's if I could keep everybody here to do the same thing over again with me, right? But yeah, so breaking it down into milestones is definitely part of it. I think the other part is understanding what you have to get done in that milestone with the amount of capital that you have. And that's a very good forcing function for you to be very ruthlessly focused. Okay, can I actually pull that off in the next 2 years? Will that take me 3 years? Can I get it done with this amount of capital? What are the chances of that not being successful? What if we do miss the mark? Because even in payments and a lot of other industries, you can build something, but once you build it, it still takes 6 to 12 months to actually build a pipeline and then start to actually monetize it. And once they install it, doesn't mean that you're actually generating revenue. There still can be delays in that as well. And so being thoughtful about that sort of sequencing, I think is really critical as well. And just kind of, starting from the end and kind of working backwards and keeping a mental track of how much time you have left is also really important. And so there's like an engineering concept, TTL, time to load. And I kind of used to think about that from like a startup perspective in the first few years of the company. I have 2 years to like generate X amount of revenue. And each quarter I would deplete that. And I think when you have that in your head, it really helps you keep up that sense of urgency. And when you raise money again, all right, what's my next TTL?
Just reset the clock.
Yeah, just reset the clock. Yeah. Most people say like, oh, I raised this money, we're good. And you're like, no, the clock's just reset.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people also, when you raise money, you just kind of do the same basic math again, but you have more people. You now have more capital. And so people expect higher salaries. And if you have higher salaries, that means you have higher all loaded in employee expenses. So assume another 17% just for healthcare, payroll taxes. And you start to do out the math and you're like, oh shit, I actually don't have as much time as I thought.